So if I'm away from work, and work is to say a place where I kind of voluntarily, but involuntarily at the same time, commit a large portion of my time each week towards going to a employer that has duties for me to fulfill, and I'm in a way obligated to perform those duties and use the better end of my abilities to complete those tasks. And then that company will in some way make resource or money off of the work that I performed, pay me for it, and I can use that money to survive. I can use it to buy food, I can use it to find housing, to buy clothes, recreational activities. And that's kind of the basic concept of my understanding of civilization, which makes sense to me, and I really think that's okay. But we've gotten to a point in America where there's such a ocean in between the people that make the money off of your work and how much they're willing to pay you in relationship to what inflation is, and how far that money that they're paying you will actually take you. So housing is more expensive, and food is more expensive, and everything's more expensive in America, but the wages haven't gone up much. So perhaps it would be less stressful, more enjoyable, less pressure on the brain, on the chemistry of the brain. You know, stress is an interesting thing to me, and I'm kind of researching it as I'm learning it as I'm living it. And I just realized that I'm less stressed when I don't have to go to work and deal with a bunch of humans who just bombard me with their problems so that they can go fix their problems, so that they can go make money for their bread. So I understand it. I mean, I get it when I'm looking at it and I'm dealing with it, but I feel like as intelligent as the species of humanity has become, that this is a piss poor way to live our lives. It's not fulfilling. It's not satisfying. It's just a constant struggle and a constant grind. So I listen to other perspectives on struggle, and perhaps struggle is a characteristic of life, which I could agree with. But I don't think that, sometimes I think struggle can be unnecessary. And in America, we work so fucking much. And we go through so much shit just to get so few in return for it. Such little in return for it. At the cost of so much mental stress, so much mental instability, or so much mental pressures that cause our human experience to be less than optimal. And it starts to become as if the average American, or really world citizen, just lives to work. So we live to build the pyramids, in other words. See, it's like, has humanity ever changed? This is how it's always been. There's always people building the pyramids, and on the outside, in the history books, we may learn about slavery, like in America's pastime, or even farther deeper back than that. In the Egyptian time, where they built the pyramids, and in school, I remember learning about that and thinking, man, that sucks for them. And God damn it, here I am, and I'm pretty much a pyramid worker. You might say, well, no, you can't say that. You're in America. You can go buy food. You can go buy Coke. You can go do this. I mean, that was just to keep us shut, perhaps. Think of it that way. Think of it, what if that was just to keep our mouth shut? Keep us just enough happy, just enough to showing up to those jobs, as George Carlin puts it. But largely, I think we're getting fucked. We're getting fucked in the ass, and they go deeper and deeper. And I'm just kind of like, at this point, the pain is no longer pleasurable. See what I'm saying? A lot of times when people, have sex, pain is pleasurable. there is a point where it can go a little too far and that pain is no longer pleasurable. And that's kind of how I feel with fucking work in America these days. It's like the pain isn't pleasurable anymore because the money doesn't go as far. And you could argue that all this is a, the coronavirus effects on the economy are still going on. Things are still shut down. Politicians are still scrambling because they don't know what the fuck they're actually doing. So they're shutting things down and they're forcing people to wear masks. And we're pretty much abandoning American values altogether because we're in panic mode. And it's absolutely pathetic. And it's because I think, largely, at least in part, we spend all of our fucking energy at our jobs. So we don't have enough time to think outside of that or think for ourselves or recognize that there might be something on a larger scale going on that shouldn't be, that will later affect us, like giving people money and hyperinflating the economy. Now that sounds good today, and you know what? I've taken my Trump dollars, but there's going to be long-term effects of that, and perhaps those long-term effects aren't worth the short-term benefits. So let's put that on other scales, like the amount of work we do. We have so much fucking abundance. Like, we don't need to keep going just for the sake of keep going. And I know this is just theory. This is just theoretical talk. But philosophies can become or seeds that can become oak trees. So perhaps this will breed into something that develops the next form of human advancement, where people are working less and there's a better work-life balance. They're enjoying their lives more. They can afford living in places of the world that they truly love. Like me, for one, I tend to move places based on the nature. I'm going because I just want to be around nature all the time so I can soothe my mind to deal with this stressful fucking American life. So you might be like, well, we have it good. In what way? We only have it good in one way, which is that we have a lot of abundant materials. But abundance has turned to poison. Abundance is poisoning the human soul, the human psyche, the mind. So you know what I'm saying? I'm like, how great is it in America to be stressed all the time? So it's like, oh, great. Here, I get to eat Cheetos today. Oh, that will really help me suck or fucking hate the stresses of just what it takes to live a basic life in America. Some people might be like, well, it's a standpoint. It's all perspective. I think, anyone who's not happy has to blame themselves. I hear all of that. I just don't believe that changes what we're dealing with and the effects that what we're dealing with has on the human soul and the human brain. So all of that that's low level intelligence. Like, we need to start measuring that. If you can't measure that, if you don't have some kind of research to back that, then, or at least some in nature, some kind of substantial imagery or examples where that happens elsewhere in nature, then I don't believe that shit anymore. So I'm just driving to work today and I'm not looking forward to going in. I love the job. I like the work. It's just so much. It's like too much. It's like, I like going to the ocean, you know what I'm saying? And I like the intervals in between the waves. But if my only experience of the ocean was getting hit in the face by waves and there was no interval in between, I don't think I would enjoy it very much. And I feel like work has become just a wave I'm going to go clock in. I can just see it. And it's just going to be a wave crashing in my face over and over and over again. And I feel like if I don't at least slightly pretend to be happy up there, then someone's going to think I have a bad attitude or something. It's just, I feel like it's all fucked up because we're all pretending to play the wrong game when we should sometimes take the mask off and really be transparent that, hey, this is hurting me. This is affecting me. Can we adjust this a little bit? Maybe we can get some extra help. Maybe we can, use all the money we have and pay for another employee, or maybe we can formulate a policy where customers aren't allowed to talk shit on the employees just because they're customers. You see what I'm saying? Like, but the business companies, the people above, they don't want that. They're like, no, you're the service agent. You do what I tell you to do, you little bitch. You're a pawn on my chessboard, and you need to be grateful because I'm going to pay you for it. And that's how you make it in America, and support the troops. You know what I'm saying? Just all these fucking things that were shoved down our minds. I'm not saying that they of themselves are incorrect, but the way they've been used is abusive. It's been manipulative. And I think it's time we start shedding light on that. In fact, fuck shedding light. Let's put it on a goddamn stand and a microphone in front of it so the whole goddamn world can see it. There's so much shit that they put on our TVs and the news and on our radios and people's bumper stickers and what people do on the side of the roads on Saturday mornings when they're protesting or they're honk for Trump, shit like that. I see it everywhere. We need to start doing that for the soul, for the things in America that are directly affecting the mental condition of the upcoming generations, the millennials, the Gen Z. And I think a lot of that has to do with why I feel so stressed all the time. But no matter, it is a characteristic of life. I just think it's interesting to see, after all the stuff I was taught when I was a kid in school, and all the hope that I put into life, and all the hope I put into romantic relationships, to just be let down and heartbroken. And I was like, why didn't they? I get it, you get heartbroken, that's fine, but why didn't they just tell us that, hey, life's hard? Why was it such a secret to just say what life was? Perhaps it was because they're pretending too. A lot of people are fake, man. They're egocentric. They're driven by their ego. They're not doing things because they thoroughly enjoy it. They're doing it because they think it's what will bring them enjoyment. See what I'm saying? We're fucked up, man. But I think we need to get, we need to start talking about these matters and taking them seriously, and stop just saying, oh, these baby millennials, they don't want to work. Yeah, it's not that easy. It's not that simple. Okay? There is a separation in the millennials' mind of doing work unnecessarily that they're unmotivated to do, and saying that they have to do that for the rest of their lives just because, and them trying to find a career where they find purpose and fulfillment, and we don't need to be rich. We just want enough money to enjoy the world that we grew up around. But now you can work hard. I work fucking hard and get paid shit for it. And you might say, well, you have to work hard to get promotions. Well, there's only so many promotions available. And there's a lot of people growing in this country, in this world. So I think eventually we have to start sharing more. And this is just conceptual. This isn't like an idea of like, I'm saying what I think we have to do. This makes sense in my mind. That's how you would fix this problem. And sharing comes in the form of maybe getting paid more for the work we do, considering how much it costs to live. But no, I mean, the guys at the top want to fill their yachts, and they give you all these type of excuses as to why that's not happening, but that's fucking bullshit. These are multi-millionaires that don't live an entirely different life than the average human. And it's not like their role is so much more important than my role. And I just don't think that's right. So there, I said it.